With that, let's get to what's probably one of the more controversial referendum items we've had in a number of years, and that's going to be the channel widening study. What we've done on this, from so far, there are 3 PACs that we know of in existence related to the channel. Only 2 of the PACs say that they're directly focused on the referendum question. So that's why we've invited just those 2 here. As the year goes on, things may change, but right now, tonight, you're going to hear a 5-minute monologue. There'll be no questions or debate. Well, there may be debate, but that's not our doing. From a representative from each of the PACs. Our esteemed Sheldon Davidson flipped a coin earlier, and the Responsible Tourism PAC will be coming first, and then the Chamber PAC will be after that. So, Jolly, is it Jolly Benson?
Yes.
Introduce yourself. 5 minutes.
I missed that coin flip, but that's okay. I'll take it. Everybody, I'm Jolly Benson. I grew up here. A lot of you know me around just from this issue, but I've been here my whole life. I grew up here. I love it here, and as do all of you. And we are facing an issue now that has been boiling for a couple of years now. The issue at hand, as you know, is a referendum on whether or not to widen the main shipping channel by dredging. There's no other way to do it. It's not a magic vacuum that shows up and somehow takes that and builds a beach up on Stock Island, okay? Well, they have to dredge it, so that's what's at stake here. Now, the opponents, which is me, we've had enough of this whole talk of widening our channel in a national marine sanctuary. We know it's illegal. We don't want our natural resources to be exploited for the gain of just a few people. You, the people that live here, that depend on tourism from hotels, restaurants, divers, fishermen, all these things add up to about $800 million a year. The cruise ship industry is about 7% of that, and they account for 1/3 of our total volume of visitors. So if you own a hotel, you know that your guests aren't wanting to go downtown when it's full of cruise ship passengers. And we understand that cruise ship passengers are here. What we're saying is we're not willing to rip up our natural resources to make way for bigger ships. Now, the proponents will say these ships they don't have more people, so don't worry about that. They just have more amenities and they're bigger. Okay, well, that's fine, but if we spend, how much? $36 million at last count to rip up our bay bottom? Who's going to end up paying for that if we're not getting any more revenue? If we're not getting any more cruise ship passengers in here, how are we going to pay for that? We'll be on the hook for tens of millions of dollars. It doesn't make sense. Economically, it doesn't make sense for the city of Key West. Environmentally, it doesn't make sense for the city of Key West. Now, we'll be hearing that it's at no cost to the city. Well, that's a little bit misleading. City staff will be working hard on this, and they do not work for free. We feel their resources could be better spent on improving our communities, looking at our road situation, looking at our parks, doing stuff that affects the visitors and the residents that live here, rather than ripping up a section of our National Marine Sanctuary, one of the most treasured spots in the entire Americas. It's our last barrier reef, and it's so precious to us. Now, that's an environmental issue. Economically, we know it's not going to make much sense when you get down to it. And they'll hear things like, well, we don't know all this, Jolly. We don't have the information. We do. The Army Corps of Engineers did a reconnaissance study in 2010. That study does not, the Army Corps of Engineers, by the way, is a national organization. They are not a local organization. So they do not take into account our feelings on this matter. They look at it solely from the standpoint that we're competing with the Bahamas and Mexico as a destination. So they're looking at what's called national economic development. And they've already said in that 2010 reconnaissance study, it's favorable for dredging. However, it's illegal to further study, and it's also illegal to dredge. Now, we know that this actual act is going to be illegal. We know that the study itself is going to require a tremendous amount of legal effort to get it pushed through. We know that this is something that we don't want. So we are going to stand up now and say, no, we've had enough. It's not a free study. Our federal taxes are going to pay for it. Our state taxes are going to pay for it. Your taxes are going to be paying city staff. And we're all going to be paying the price when that bay bottom comes up and we're losing our corals and our reef is dying even more than it is, just to placate a few people. So we urge all of you to stand up on October 1st and put this issue to bed and say, we've had enough. We don't want to dredge. If you can't make it work with the cruise ships we have, and even smaller boutique cruise ships, let's look at that. How about we get them in here? They can already fit in here. They've expressed an interest. You know, we don't need to put all our eggs in somebody else's basket. This is a finicky industry. Okay? We saw earlier this spring that they will leave whether we dredge or not. Carnival decided that they would take items off of they take stops away from us and give it to a private island, the Bahamas, that their competitors, Royal Caribbean, owns. And they hate each other. This is a McCoy and Hatfield blood feud since these companies were founded. But they don't hate each other as much as they love money. So let's keep in mind when we are talking about placating this industry, they don't care about us. We have to care about us. And what's out there means a lot more to our quality of life and our environment than these cruise ship people ever will. And we know it's not just a study. We know it's not whether or not to do this dredging. It's how to go about doing the dredging. And we're going to ask the people that would be doing the dredging to see if it's possible to do it. It's a biased study. It's not fair. And we've had enough. We don't want it. Vote no October 1st. It's really important. Now, come over there and see us a little bit later. Sign up if you want. We're more than happy to hear from everybody. I'm happy to answer questions, anything that you want. We have a website. It's responsibletourismkw.com. We also have a Facebook page. We urge all of you to get on there and make sure that you tell everybody you know. And thank you so much for Hometown PAC for having us. It's a real pleasure to get up here and just to be able to express ourselves. And it's good for the community to have such spirited debates. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joel. Jennifer? That is Jennifer from the Chamber PAC.
Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer Hulse. I represent the Key West, the Chamber of Commerce Support the Study Political Action Committee. And you heard Jolly gave a lot of facts and information, threw a lot of information out at you. But I want to read you the actual language of the referendum because this is what we're here to talk about, and this is what the next few months is about. So we need to concentrate on what this referendum means. What are we asking to vote yes or no on October 1st? And that referendum states, shall the City of Key West request that the Army Corps of Engineers conduct a comprehensive feasibility study at no monetary cost to the city to determine the environmental, economic, and social impacts of widening the Key West mainship channel for use by modern and longer cruise ships while also addressing navigational safety. The information, the language of the referendum is extremely important because the other side doesn't want you to understand the process. The reconnaissance study in 2010 was the very, very first preliminary step for us to even look into this issue of why our cruise ships are declining and what can we do about it. So it's the very first step was the reconnaissance study. That was 3 years ago, guys. So we're still here now, and now we're trying to decide on the next phase. Should we go forward with looking into the feasibility of widening the channel? That's all we're here to do. This is a feasibility study. It's conducted by the Army Corps of Engineers. We don't have a choice in who we use. This is not something that we put out for bid and somebody can give us different reports. This is mandated by the Army Corps of Engineers. So why is this important? Why is the language important? Because we are just talking about a study. We are talking about information, and we're talking about, as a community, making informed decisions. Don't we want to know how cruise ships impact our tourism economy? Don't we want to know that? Don't we want to know what those numbers are? Don't we want to know if there's any environmental impact that can't be mitigated? Don't we want to know about mitigation? These are things that we should be considering in what is impacting our Key West tourism economy. So, of course, the cruise lines care about money. They're businesses. So are the airlines. So are everybody's a business. There's no reason to make that seem like it's a bad thing. We all are business owners. We're small business owners in Key West. We're business owners. So these things are important. The reason why it's important to you, even if you don't have a business on Duval Street, even if you don't, you're whatever, you don't think you're impacted, you don't live in Old Town, here's why it impacts you. Approximately $80 million a year are spent in our town from cruise ship tourists. $80 million. Now, we don't even know that that's accurate. That's the best guess from the TDC and from other sources. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's a little less than that. But if we lose that revenue, we cannot just think that there's not going to be an impact on our economy. Of course there will be. What if the unemployment rate goes up 7%? Does that affect our economy? Of course it does. So these are things that we have to be looking at as a community about what is important to us. So that's all we're asking you to do for the next few months is just listen. Open your minds, try to decipher fact from fiction, and make a decision about what impacts our economy. And if you think no is the right answer and you don't even want to know the facts, then fine, vote no. But if you care about how this impacts you and you want to go forward with the next phase, all we're asking is to listen and to make an informed decision so that we as a community can make an informed decision. So thank you for letting us speak tonight. We have a website, which is supportthestudy.com. We also have a Facebook page, Support the Study. And then our first campaign kickoff event is next Tuesday at 5:30 at Fogarty's. Public is welcome to attend that, so we hope to see some of you there. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. This looks to be a much talked about subject through the summer. And we will, closer to election time, probably after everybody's filed, once we know, what's it called? Once everybody has qualified for election yes, once we have a slate established, we'll have a forum for whoever is going to be running for the various seats. And we'll have a full-on debate with the two PACs on the study and see where it goes. With that, I think this is a new record, right at 6 o'clock. We got everybody done. Please stick around. I think it's still happy hour. And stay, eat food, enjoy the beach, go swim. But you have to you have to join Hometown. We don't do these things for free. So, I think that's a nude beach, by the way. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.